Alright, hey guys, and welcome back, as I am back for another MOTU Origins review, and as I'm all done with Wave 1, and I don't have any of the Wave 2 series, I'm going to be jumping right into Wave 3, which were the early 2021 releases for the new MOTU Origins line. Now, there's only about 6 original figures. I don't think that there's anything else that's released for the third wave of the 2021 Origins release. 2 of them being reissues of He-Man and Skeletor. So today I wanted to take a look at, I think, one of the most interesting figures that were released and very unexpected for the Origins line, just in general. And that is the 2021 Origins MOTU Origins release of She-Ra in the Princess of Power series. So this is a very cool card for this figure. I think that they did a little bit of a redesign on the top logo, the Masters of the Universe. I can't say for certain, but the font just looks a little bit different. It looks a little bit nicer than what we saw with the early Wave 1 figures. Still basically the same, though. The New for 21 logo, the modern posing, retro play, sunburst, the Mattel logo, the bursting red rocks, the blue sky in the background. But this is a really cool looking package we have here. So we have She-Ra, of course, in the front here, the most powerful woman in the universe, as it says up top. And I love how they even included this original little sticker on the front here, and you can peel that off, which is cool. So I've actually done that on a couple of figures that have these stickers on the front, and they're kind of just fun to put on other stuff. So if you're going to throw out the package, you can peel these stickers off, and then of course if you're keeping any of them in package, you know, they do look nice, but just try to keep them out of the sun because they will fade. So we have She-Ra in the blister card here. We'll take a look at the back. And we have some really cool artwork, as always, going on up top. It says, She-Ra protects the Whispering Woods and all Etheria from the attack of Hordak and the Evil Horde. And we have She-Ra going into battle against Hordak and Mosquitor and all the other different Horde forces back there in the Whispering Woods, which I can't wait to hopefully get a hold of a Mosquitor figure. Really, really awesome. And then we have, it shows here what you can do with She-Ra, where you can put on the cape, turn crown around to become a helmet. She's She-Ra. And then it shows her with her sword and shield twist into powerful battle positions. And then again, like I said, there's only 6 figures in this new wave. Only 4 which are actually new. You have the original He-Man, She-Ra, Skeletor, which is a re-release, Roboto, Zodak, and Merman. So only She-Ra, Roboto, Zodak, and Merman are new for Wave 3. And I think they're all done really well. So now let's go and we'll get this opened up, and we'll take a look at what you get inside with your new figure. Alright, so now we've got She-Ra all out of the packaging here, and you do get quite a bit of accessories with this figure. Of course, you have the MOTU Origins She-Ra figure. You have her crown, which also doubles as her disguise when she is just regular Princess Adora. We have her Sword of Power. We have the Shield of Power, which she can use to transform into a variety of different objects. And then, of course, we have a new mini-comic for this wave. Now, this is the one that will come with all of the other figures that I've shown before on the back of the card, and this is the Dimensional Doom comic, which is really cool. Again, I really wish they would do ones for each individual figure. I think it's kind of a cop-out to just do one for a set of 4. But it's still kind of neat. You know, you show, like, Merman, like, controlling his forces, and they're in the, you know, they're in the Talon Fighter, the Point Dread Talon Fighter. And then you see Skeletor trying to absorb power from, like, this ancient multi-dimensional gate, and then Zodak is there to stop him, and then we have He-Man and She-Ra joining forces to do battle against Skeletor, with Roboto coming out of another dimensional doorway. So kind of a neat little storyline and pretty cool. But I do think for as much as I like these, they're kind of a disappointment. I mean, they could make them a little bit longer than like 4 pages and just... There should be a little more meat on the bone for what you get with those comics. But they're not bad, but I just think they could be better. So anyway, now let's take a look up close at the She-Ra figure that we have here. So there's not going to be too much different as far as articulation. Going to be the same points of articulation at the elbows, at the shoulder, at the wrist. The head does not move so much because of the hair, but it does. It does move. You can twist at the waist. The waist can be pulled apart. The head can be pulled apart. We have the knees, at the hips, the ankles, and then you can also turn the lower legs. So that's your basic articulation points. Now, I think overall this is a good-looking figure, but I do have one major complaint right off the bat, and I don't like that her hair is like this molded rubber, as you can see on the back. I mean, it does look nice. I mean, it's not terrible, but I would have just rather had regular hair like the original She-Ra figure. You know, I guess that they're, you know, trying to, for longevity, and so it doesn't get knotted up and everything, and I understand that, but it just looks very different. It doesn't really look like the She-Ra that we know. Also, the facial features are quite different. That really doesn't look anything at all like Filmation She-Ra, so that's really a very poor job on the facial features. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it just does not look like She-Ra. The cape is nice, I like that, although it is strange where it says put on cape, because the cape is attached. You can't really, to my knowledge, you can't remove this, and even if you could, well, it looks like you might. I never actually tried. Looks like it may come off of the shoulders. But there's no point to, because you'll probably end up destroying it. She has some nice detail work here. The bracers have some nice detail work on the sides there. She has her lower armor piece and the lower part of her dress here. She has her bracers on her foot gauntlets there at the bottom. So I like her armor. Her armor looks good. Her overall outfit looks nice in the same classic white and gold dress where there would have been a gem in the middle, so that's kind of neat how they did that, but they could have made that a little bit more reflective to show the translucent gem that the original one had. So overall, on the surface, I don't think it's bad for a modern reinterpretation. But some points I definitely think are a little bit lazy. I mean, overall this looks good as a figure, but it just doesn't really look like She-Ra. So anyway, with that aside, let's take a look at her with her accessories. Now, with the crown, you're actually supposed to have it like this. This is when she is just Princess Adora. So that's just her regular crown, which of course, you know, that's a great disguise. Nobody can tell the difference when you're wearing the exact same thing, just upside down. And then when she goes to change into She-Ra, you just flip this over, and it becomes a little mask. And of course, no one would know and be like, hey, there's only one person who lives around here that happens to wear a crown that looks exactly like that. So, not the best secret identity. We have her Sword of Power, which this is fantastic. They did a great job on this little accessory. I mean, wow. That looks great. So much detail and attention went into this. Like, where was this attention in the rest of the power swords for He-Man and everything? You know, this is fantastic. This is really well done. She doesn't hold on to it that well, but you know, well enough. So we'll give her her Sword of Power there. There we are. And then of course we also have, if she wants to stand up, there we go. We also have her Shield of Power, again, which is a really nice little accessory. And these aren't rubbery at all. These are really strong, hard plastics. So they didn't cut corners on this. That'll just clip right into her hand. And there we go. So overall, I think that's a nice overall look. You know, it's a nice, decent, modern She-Ra. Let's lower her sword a little bit so we can get a kind of a more close-up look at her. And yeah, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, she definitely has that warrior look to her. The accessories are nice, and it's nice that they included all this, you know, especially with the cape and everything. So while there are a few negative points right off the bat, I mean, you can tell that they didn't cut really too many corners with this figure. So now let's go and we'll take a look at the original vintage She-Ra and do a side-by-side comparison. Alright, so now I've got both figures here. I have the 2021 MOTU Origins She-Ra version and the 1982 Princess of Power She-Ra version for a side-by-side comparison. Now, I'm not going to be doing a comparison with any of the new She-Ra's accessories, just because my original She-Ra has barely none to speak of, so this is just going to be a base figure comparison, just to be fair. So now one thing you'll notice right off the bat is that the original She-Ra, she seems to stand, probably, well, I guess it's her hair, really. She stands maybe about a ½ an inch to a ¼ of an inch taller than the MOTU Origins She-Ra, which is unusual, because a lot of the MOTU Origins are usually slightly taller, or at least the same height. Now you can notice there's an unbelievable amount of differences between the vintage and the original. Number one, mainly I have to say, is in the facial features and the face. The new one does not look bad, I have to say, but when compared to the original She-Ra, they look absolutely nothing alike. Her face has kind of like this angry look to it, which I don't really care for. I mean, I guess you could call it a determined look, but I don't really think it's a good face paint. I think that could have been done a little bit better. Also, another huge difference is in the paints used on her armor and her accessories. They are in the right areas, but this is more of a gold tint, and this is more of like a mustard on the Origins, so I don't really like that. I think they should have kept it more true to the original gold paint. I think the dress details look nice. They seem to be the same. Again, like I said, she doesn't have her cape, so I can't really do a comparison on that. The hair, of course, I think that's a huge speaking point, to where I just think on the original it looks better. I mean, this does look nice, and you don't have to worry about it ever getting tangled or messed up or anything like that, but I just think that the original one does add character, but I guess in context that looks good for the original figure, and in the context of the new Origins figure, it looks fine for her, but it's just, if you're trying to do a side-by-side comparison, you know, it's really apples and oranges. Also, she has this little rhinestone, little sequin in the center of her dress there, which I think they could have done a better job with that. I mean, the blue paint is okay, but it's very different. Also, the fact that she's missing this paint that goes around the front of her armor outfit there. I mean, they did include some of the yellow up top, but that's not correct. That's not the way that should be. So overall, I think, this is the MOTU Origins She-Ra is not bad. I mean, I love the accessories. I think the accessories are fantastic. But I think when you're just trying to look at, if you're trying to copy the original figures, I think they could have done a much better job, especially with the head sculpt, with the face sculpt. I just don't know what's going on with that. That doesn't look anything like the original at all. It just does not look right whatsoever. The hair I can kind of live with, but I think that face sculpt just really looks bad. And I think they could have tried to keep this a little bit more true to the original. I think there's a lot of missed opportunities with this She-Ra figure. But I think for the Origins line, I think it's good for the Origins line. It's just, If you're looking for something that is going to be a stand-in for an original She-Ra figure, don't get the MOTU Origins She-Ra because you will be disappointed by that. But if you're just collecting for the line and for the Origins line, I recommend adding it to your collection. I do think it is a good figure overall. It's just not something to really stand up to a comparison with the original. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for my MOTU Origins review of 2021 She-Ra Princess of Power for the Origins line. I hope you guys enjoyed this review today, and I will see you back here next time.
Hey guys, if you liked the video that you just watched, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and you can follow me at Facebook at King of Retro or Twitter at #8ByteBrian. See you next time.